Democratic governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, had the perfect and a hilarious response to a criticism from Trump stooge and former Trump advisor Stephen Miller. And the criticism was on the subject of the implementation by Josh Shapiro currently, as it's being rolled out, of an automatic voter registration program in the state of Pennsylvania. Fantastic program to implement. And of course, Stephen Miller, in line with the conspiracy theories about the elections being stolen and not secure and all these different things, is against that idea, of course, and said something on Twitter about it. And then on CNN, Josh Shapiro got asked about Stephen Miller and his words about this program, and had a great and snarky, as it was called in reporting, response. Before looking at this clip, here's some reporting from Mediaite. Shapiro joined CNN this morning on Wednesday to talk about the state's new program to automatically register eligible residents to vote when they obtain or renew identification cards or driver's licenses. The governor asserted he was well within my legal authority as he spoke about the process implementation, the safeguards in place, and why he didn't go through the legislature to install the new policy. And then you can see here the tweet from Stephen Miller was, "And I can promise you," and he's responding, of course, to this story, "and I can promise you there will be no citizenship verification," which, of course, is a false statement. And first, you'll see in this clip Josh Shapiro just breaking down, advocating on behalf of this automatic voter registration program, and then he gets asked about Stephen Miller specifically.
Well, there's some very big news in voting rights in a very key swing state. Pennsylvania's governor has just announced his state will now automatically register eligible residents to vote when they get a new state-issued ID or driver's license. Now, 23 other states plus Washington, D.C. have some form of automatic voter registration, but few of them are likely to play as pivotal a role in the next presidential election as Pennsylvania. Joining us now is Pennsylvania's governor, Josh Shapiro. Governor, we appreciate your time. I kind of want to dig in on the implementation of all of this in a minute. But one of the primary criticisms we heard yesterday when this was announced from Republicans in state legislature was, why didn't you go through them? Why didn't you go through a legislative process, work with the other side on this? Why move forward on your own? What's your response to that?
Well, let's be clear about something. I've been very open during my campaign and my time as governor about my belief that we should be an automatic voter registration state. We worked on the process. I'm well within my legal authority, and we put out a process that is secure and safe. It goes through our DMV process, which already includes safeguards to ensure that the person registering to vote is eligible to vote. This is an important way to expand voter participation, which I think in turn strengthens our democracy. I'm firmly on the side of promoting and protecting our democracy. If there are those that want to make it harder for people to vote, then they're going to have to account to that. But the bottom line is I'm well within my legal authority. This is good for our democracy, good for voter participation.
You mentioned what the DMV or what checks there are, right, from the DMV, et cetera. I just was wondering if you could please respond directly to Stephen Miller, former Donald Trump aide, who tweeted this. "I can promise you there will be no citizenship verification." Just want to give you a chance to respond directly to that.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to respond to Stephen Miller. That guy's a dope who can't tell the
yeah,
truth.
I'm not asking you about Stephen Miller, governor, but just about what he raises, because I think he raises a question others may raise. So just to the substance of what he said.
Right. Well, he doesn't raise any substance. Here is the actual substance. When you go to get a driver's license, when you go to renew your driver's license, you have to bring identifying documents in order.
Right. And so, first of all, if you want to ask Josh Shapiro about this program and about the security of it, fair. Why would you cite Stephen Miller to ask that question? Here's a tweet from a consistent conspiracy theorist and reoccurring liar and bonkers individual. What do you think about the substance of his point there? And so I can understand why Josh Shapiro said, no, I'm not going to respond to him, but I'll respond to the general point if you'd like me to, because he's a dope, which is a hilarious word to use. But it's such an absurd talking point to say somehow it's decreasing the security of our elections to have automatic voter registration when that process goes through your renewal or getting of a state ID, a driver's license, you know how that process goes, right? You have to verify that you are who you say you are. And then for the voter registration, that you're a citizen and you have the right to vote and you're eligible to vote. It's just, if you check those boxes while you're already here having to bring those types of documents to verify those different things, why not get you registered to vote? So that when it comes time for you to choose to vote, you have that choice. You don't have to worry about the logistics of registration. And different states are different, but in some, that can be a burden that is completely unnecessary. And so on that front, and trying to minimize lines and just make it more efficient. And with elections, you have, of course, election security. That's the first box that must be checked: secure elections. And then within that context, try to make it more convenient too. Don't sacrifice security, which this obviously is not, but try to make it more convenient within that framework. And the idea from the GOP that any step to make more accessible, make more convenient and easy voting for people, only eligible voters, of course, but those individuals, that's somehow an attack on election security or a plot to steal elections or anything like that, just shows how inherently anti-democratic their positions are. Because if you wanted the say of the American people to be heard by our democratic system and our democratic process, then you would want it to be accessible, again, within a secure framework. And something like this is exactly that type of step that should be taken by every single state. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show and get a bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. And there's a link in the description.